from Oxnard Street. There was a motorcycle involved in the crash. Highland Park on the 110 freeway. It's pretty slow southbound between Avenue 43 and 3rd Street, 4th Street. And in Southgate, the 710 northbound at Imperial Highway. A recently off-ramp is being dealt with.
Ready to take control of your phone plan? Well, then you better take that next turn to a Verizon store. Because my plan from Verizon is the kind of control we all deserve. Get exactly what you want. Only pay for what you need. Get my plan at your Verizon store today.
This is the KBLA Sports Minute with Ray Richardson.
The Denver Nuggets will have to wait a little while longer to find out their opponent in the NBA Finals. Boston avoided a sweep in the Eastern Conference Finals with a 17-point win in Miami. Miami has a 3-1 lead, but the series now goes back to Boston for Game 5 Thursday night. The Lakers hope key moves in the offseason will convince LeBron not to retire. LeBron wants to see what the Lakers would do to improve the team before deciding on his future. Unrestricted free agents on the Lakers roster include D'Angelo Russell, Jared Vanderbilt, Dennis Schroeder, Lonnie Lowe IV, and Troy Brown Jr. Congrats to Golden State Steph Curry for being named the winner of the Kareem Abdul-Jabbar Social Justice Champion Award. The award comes with a $100,000 donation for Curry to give to the charity of his choice. No debates, no speculation, just the info you need. That's your KBLA Sports Minute. I'm Ray Richardson. More news, opinions, and conversation when we come forward on KBLA Talk 1580.
I feel like
KBLA Talk 1580 is pleased to partner with the Empowerment Congress, the Gathering Spot, the Institute for Nonviolence, and Days of Dialogue for a Juneteenth program called State of the Freed to educate fellow citizens about the significance of the holiday and efforts around reparations for descendants of slaves living in California. Program participants include California Reparations Task Force member Assemblyman Reginald Jones Sawyer and State Senator Steve Bradford, along with KBLA's own Dominique DePrima, Ariva Martin, Tavis Smiley, and many more. It all happens Saturday, June 10th, and you could be selected to attend this special invitation-only Juneteenth event along with Dominique, Ariva, and Tavis. All you have to do is go to the KBLA 1580 website, click on the Juneteenth State of the Freed icon on the homepage, and register to win entrance into this empowering affair. Or you can watch the live stream of this special Juneteenth event by going to www.empowermentcongress.org/Juneteenth. But head to the KBLA 1580 website right now for your chance to join us live on site Saturday, June 10th for the State of the Freed. This is a Juneteenth community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580. We've got your black.
I feel like freedom.
Ladies and gentlemen, the President of the United States of America.
The story of Emmett Till and his mother is a story of a family's promise and loss and a nation's reckoning with hate, violence, and abuse of power. It's a story that was seared into our memory and our conscience, the nation's conscience, when Mrs. Till insisted that an open casket for her murdered and maimed 14-year-old son. She said, "Let the people see what I've seen." The reason the world saw what she saw was because of another hero in this story, the black press. Jet Magazine, the Chicago Defender, and other black radio and newspapers were unflinching and brave in making sure America saw what she saw. Ida B. Wells once said, and I quote, "The way to right wrongs is to turn the light of truth upon the wrongs."
Turning the light of truth upon the wrongs. We're unapologetically progressive. KBLA Talk 1580, and we don't black down.
I pour so much whiskey, I make you stand at home in your sleep. Yes, I said, I pour so much whiskey, I make you stand at home in your sleep. Come early in the morning, you'll be staggering up and down the street.
Out of those baseball uniforms and in the work clothes. You report to me at $1,600. We got a work detail. Painting the lobby of the officers' club.
Why can't those officers paint their own club?
Oh, hell no, Smalls.
let the great colored cleanup company do it. Our motto is anything you don't want to do, the colored troops will do for you.
Anything you don't want to do, the colored troops will do for you.
Anything you don't want to do, the colored troops will do for you. Anything you don't want to do, the colored troops will do for you.
That's enough. Let me tell all you fancy-ass ball-playing Negroes something. The reasons for any orders given by a superior officer is none of y'all's business. You obey them. This country is at war, and you niggas are soldiers. Nothing else. And something else. From now on, when I tell you to do something, I want it done. Is that clear?
Yes, sir.
Now get out of those baseball uniforms. I could smell you suckers before I hit the door.
Hey, what kind of colored man are you?
I'm a soldier, Peterson. And the kind of colored man that don't like lazy, shiftless Negroes.
Well, sir, you ain't got to come in here calling us names.
The Nazis called you Schwarzer. You gonna complain to Hitler they hurt your little feelings?
It don't look like to me we could do too much to them Nazis with paintbrushes, sir.
You trying to mock me, CJ?
No, sir, Sarge.
Good. Because whatever an ignorant, low-class Geechee like you has to say ain't worth paying attention to. Is it? Is it?
I reckon not, Sarge.
You a creep, Waters.
Sarge, just joking, Pete. He don't mean no harm.
No, he does. I mean, we're taking her from them white boys.
Yes, you do. And if it wasn't for you southern niggas, white folks wouldn't think we was all fools.
Well, where you from? England?
Okay. Looks like we got us a wise-ass Alabama boy here. Yes, sir. Now, don't you get smart, nigga.
Your hands off me.
You wanna hit old Sergeant Waters, boy? Come on. Please.
There we go. We all saw the film A Soldier's Story with an all-star cast that included, among others, Adolph Caesar, Denzel Washington, Howard Rollins, David Allen Greer, Art Evans, and Robert Townsend. But the acclaimed stage production, A Soldier's Play, is presently here in Los Angeles at the Amundsen Theater, one of my favorite theaters. We talk in this hour with two of the actors, Norm Lewis and Eugene Lee. Eugene Lee was in the original. And the director of that production, the Tony winner, the Obie winner, Kenny Leon, who all join us live now in studio. Okay, I lied again. We're not actually in my studio because there are three of them and they wouldn't fit in the studio. So we're in the conference room. Nonetheless, they came down to see me, and I am delighted to have them with us today. Eugene Lee, how are you, sir?
I'm blessed, man. Yourself?
If I complained, I'd be an ingrate, man. I'm just glad to be here. Norm Lewis, how are you, sir?
I'll piggyback on that. I'm blessed and highly favored.
There you go. And Kenny Leon, long time no see. How are you, sir?
Okay, I'm good. Another day above ground.
Yeah. I'm teasing Kenny because I mentioned earlier in the show that I was out way too late last night, hanging out with my friend Kenny Leon and Too Short and Dave Chappelle and Earthquake and DL and Rock, every major comedian. Yesterday was a big birthday celebration for Earthquake, who a dear friend of ours. And Kenny flew in from New York last night. I picked him up, and I don't know where he found the energy.
I'm here.
Yeah, you're here. You're here. So we survived last night, and here we are today. But I'm glad to have you all three here. Let me start with you, Eugene Lee, since you were in the original. When you hear, and we're going to talk about the play, of course, in this hour, but when you hear the brilliance of Adolph and Denzel and others in the bite we just played from the film, what do you hear? How does it impact you with regard to the brilliance of this work?
Oh, it's the brilliance of Charles Fuller and his storytelling, man, and the poetry in his language. And, you know, nothing in this play is only what it appears to be. And I think that's what's wonderful about a piece like this. It's so crafted and nuanced, and that's what I hear when I hear that. I hear Charles Fuller's voice telling these stories. You know, this play is the truth, told with clarity. And I think people who come to see this play leave this play with something they didn't come to this play with.
Yeah.
And it's an interesting insight into the African American experience historically, culturally, and specifically, you know, the segregated U.S. Army. Those insights that people take away from it, and not just black people, but white people as well. Insights into that phenomenon of self-hate, and et cetera. So, yeah. A lot resonates in my head with this play because of my history with it.
When you say nothing in this play, as presented on stage, is as it appears to be, unpack that for me.
It's only what it appears.
Only what it appears. I'm sorry, I misquoted you. Yes.
The best example, and you know, not a spoiler alert, but Sergeant Waters epitomizes the very thing that he hates, and that sort of contradiction in a character. Are always interesting to me to play. That's the nuanced aspect of it.
Yeah,
that he isn't just one thing.
Yeah. When I saw Norm Lewis that you were in this, I was a bit shocked. I said, Kenny got Norm Lewis to do a project like this. I'm glad you're in it, and I'm anxious to see you on the stage. But what attracts one of your ilk to a production like this, particularly one that we know so well?
I think the fact that I saw this back in the mid-'80s, I saw the movie, and it left an impact with me. And so knowing the history, some history I'd never heard of before, so it stayed with me throughout the years. But yeah, I am the musical theater guy that you probably know. Most of the non-musical things I do have been television and film.
Right.
But then it was a chance to work with Kenny Leon, and then to we've known each other for years, but to actually get a chance to work together, it's been very, like, it was so great. But to do a play, this was my second play ever professionally, and what a play to do. And as Eugene was talking about it, I can't really, expound more on what he just said because it was so brilliantly said, but it also impacts it. It was written back in the early 80s about the 1940s, but it impacts us in the 2023s, and so I'm glad that we got a chance to go around the country and spread this message.
Yeah. Kenny Leon, when he says, when Norm says it impacts us in the 2023s, unpack that for me.
When Charles Fuller wrote the play, it was already a history play. Wrote it in 1981, 82 about the 40s. And then 40 years later or so, we then look at, back at 82, back to 42. And I always think that great theater looks at the history of humanity. How far have we come? What have we learned? What do we do better? If you're a biblical person, you would say, wow, God has a lot of patience. Because we've been learning and relearning stuff, and if you take that to the American history, and you have great storytellers like Charles Fuller and Ossie Davis and Lorraine Hansberry, August Wilson, those people, those artists who loved our culture. They loved their people. They love their people more than we love ourselves. And because they love us, they put these stories down. And hopefully the next generation can learn from it and make it better, take it further. So it's interesting to me to look back at 1940 and to look at 2023 after a pandemic. It's like my friend Harold Belafonte, I was telling you last night, I had the opportunity to spend some time with him, like maybe 3 weeks before he passed, and I said, well, how do you see it, man? Just tell me, give me some advice, give me some fuel. And he says, man, my first concert was in the 30s in Germany. At that time, Germany was the hate of the world, and America was the love and the hope of the world. And he said, unfortunately, I think that we in America are closer to the Germany of the 30s, and unfortunately, there is no America.
Yeah.
And that stuck in my brain, so I said, what can we do as artists? He says, all you can do is keep telling the truth. Keep telling the truth. Keep wrestling with humanity. And I think Charles Fuller has done that with this play. He looks at life within the black community. He looks at life within America. He looks at life within the world. And he says, what can we do better? How do we love each other? How does racism lead to self-hate? All those things. And so there are multiple things when you're watching this play that you see. You see, personal challenges, you see community challenges, you see country challenges, you see national challenges, you see spiritual challenges, all in one night, looking through the lens of 12 men.
Yeah. Mr. B was so full of wisdom. We did an hour tribute to him. I just went into my vault and pulled out some of the best clips, and that wasn't easy to do, right, with him.
Wow.
Put out some of the best clips of my conversations over the years of our friendship. I'm going to let you tee this up now. We'll continue on the other side when we come forward here. He said so many wise things to you, but you know the line I want you to give me, and we'll unpack it when we come forward.
The line?
Afrocentric.
Oh, yeah.
Remember this line?
Oh, yeah. I had an opportunity to do Tupac's musical on Broadway, Holler If You Hear Me. And Broadway, that culture is it's different. And I remember being
that's one word for it.
Different. The Great White Way is different.
Yeah, that's one word for it. Yeah.
I was disappointed that the show, I felt, was closing early. I was like, wow, it's only been 3 months and we're closing. And I saw him getting out of a taxi. Actually, it was getting out. It was Cornel West, and I didn't see Mr. Belafonte. I saw Cornel West step out of the taxi. And he says, Brother Leon. I said, hey, man, how you doing, man? He said, how you doing? I said, well, my play just is closing. We got our closing notice. And then Harry Belafonte gets out of the taxi. He says, Brother Leon. I said, oh, man, thank you for talking to those young people after the show. And he said, wait a minute, let me stop you. You've given so much to our culture. You have to remind yourself that you're presenting Afrocentric work on a Eurocentric stage.
We'll come right back to that in a moment. Putting Afrocentric work on a Eurocentric stage, never lose sight of that. And when Kenny told me that Mr. B had told him that, my frame got even bigger, because that's true for so many of us. You see where we're going with this, right? Yeah. We're all trying to put Afrocentric work in a Eurocentric space. We'll unpack that and talk more about a soldier's play at the Amundsen Theater when we come forward on KBLA Talk 1580.
We've got a lot to talk about. Good thing we've got 3 hours. More of Tavis Smiley when we come forward.
Did you know that all City of LA renters have rights? Check out these 3 facts. Residential tenants can't be evicted without reason or just cause. Eviction protection still exists for unpaid COVID-19 rental debt due before March 31st, 2023. And you have 5 days to respond to an eviction notice. 5 days. Many Angelenos may be at risk of losing their home, and that's why we want you to know your rights. Learn more at housing.lacity.org. Be informed, be protected, be at home.
I can't wait for what's next. Even with higher stroke risk due to atrial fibrillation, an irregular heartbeat not caused by a heart valve problem. Eliquis, the Pixaban tablets, reduces stroke risk. It's the #1 cardiologist prescribed blood thinner.
Don't stop taking prescription Eliquis without talking to your doctor, as this may increase your risk of stroke. Eliquis can cause serious and in rare cases fatal bleeding. Don't take Eliquis if you have an artificial heart valve, abnormal bleeding, or have antiphospholipid syndrome. While taking, you may bruise more easily or take longer for bleeding to stop. A spinal injection while on Eliquis increases risk of blood clots, which may cause paralysis, the inability to move. Get medical help right away for unexpected bleeding or unusual bruising, or if you have tingling, numbness, or muscle weakness. It may increase your bleeding risk if you take medicines such as aspirin products, NSAIDs, SSRIs, SNRIs, and blood thinners. Tell your doctor about all planned medical or dental procedures. Learn more at Eliquis.com or call 1-855-ELIQUIS.
Kids don't care what you're doing, but your pad should. Get Always Triple Protection System in Always Day and Night Pads. Always Day Pads protect when active by wicking away gushes 2 times faster than leading store brands and giving us up to 100% leak-free and odor-free comfort. When we size up our pad at night, we get the same triple protection, plus up to 75% more coverage in the back for when we're laying down. No matter what, Always has you covered, day and night.
Wireless headphones. That'll be $200.
I'll use my Capital One Quicksilver card.
Now that's a hit. You used the Capital One Quicksilver card, which makes you the hero of every purchase. With Quicksilver, you earn unlimited 1.5% cash back on every purchase everywhere.
I wanted running music, but unlimited 1.5% cash back is pretty heroic.
Good instincts. Every hero needs a theme song. The Capital One Quicksilver card. What's in your wallet?
Terms apply. See CapitalOne.com for details.
Ray Magliozzi here for eBay Motors. So you ordered a new air filter for your car. You try to install it, but it doesn't fit. So you take a little bit off the sides. What, still doesn't fit? Well, you could try to sit on it. Or get it right the first time with eBay Guaranteed Fit. When you see the check, you know that part's gonna fit. Air filters, brakes, headlights, over 122 million parts. Get the right parts at the right prices. eBay Motors, let's ride. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply.
Some people won't give you the real talk on drugs, but it's time we know the facts. Fentanyl is killing people. It's a powerful opioid, often made illegally and commonly mixed with illicit drugs. It can even be pressed into counterfeit pills that resemble prescription medications. Just 2 milligrams, about the size of a few grains of sand, could potentially be lethal. This isn't an ad to scare you, but it is an ad to make you think twice. Get the facts. Go to realdealonfentanyl.com. This message is brought to you by the Ad Council.
This is KBLA Talk 1580.
Have you faced discrimination in Los Angeles? The City of LA Civil Rights Department can help. They investigate private sector discrimination in LA City, in commerce, education, employment, and housing. If you're facing discrimination, submit a complaint online for free at laisforeveryone.com. That's laisforeveryone.com. Or call 213-978-1845.
KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
Maisha Cairo here with a quick recap for my time at JP Morgan Chase's Advancing Black Wealth Tour. There were speakers Ian Dunlap, Damon John, Lynn Richardson, MC Light, Don Kennedy, to name a few. Take a listen to what Justin Grant, Community Development Lead at Chase's Advancing Black Pathway, let's see what he had to say.
So I'm Justin Grant. I lead community development and national partnerships for JP Morgan Chase's Advancing Black Pathway strategy. And so we're focused on strengthening the economic foundation of black communities, and we're making targeted investments in programs like the Advancing Black Wealth Tour to help us get our tools and resources out to the community to drive sustained impact over time.
So when it comes to black and brown people, it sounds like Chase is making it their personal responsibility not only to facilitate these events, but to educate and provide resources. So, Mr. Grant, I have to ask, what does wealth building look like for the individual?
It's home ownership, it's having that freedom to be able to start your own business and create jobs in your community, and it's having that long-term plan towards retirement, having that vision for what you want your life to be, and you have the resources to actually live it.
I'm Maisha Cairo. Thanks for sticking around. That was my recap from Chase's Advancing Black Wealth Tour. First stop was here in LA, and they're taking it national.
This is KBLA Talk 1580, where hate loses and love wins.
it's hard to step on Patti LaBelle, but as they say, the show must go on. We are playing Patti LaBelle now, and we are playing that song because Norm Lewis selected it. But it turns out that today is Patti's birthday. So happy birthday, Patti, from all of us here. We love you. Today is Patti's birthday. Patti was on the soundtrack. You heard us earlier in this hour play Patti on the soundtrack of the film A Soldier's Story. And so it turns out that today is Patti's birthday. So happy birthday to our friend Patti LaBelle. You are our friend, Patti, and we love you dearly. We are talking in this hour about A Soldier's Play. Presently on stage here at the Amundsen Theater in Southern California. Two of the actors join us, two of the fine actors join us in this hour, Norm Lewis and Eugene Lee. Eugene Lee in the original, and the Obie and Tony-winning director of this play, our friend Kenny Leon, all with us here at KBLA for this hour, talking about the play that you should make plans to see. I promise you will not be disappointed. Before I'm watching my clock here. Before that before that break, moments ago, Eugene, Kenny shared that story of Mr. B. Belafonte telling him that never forget you are trying to put you are indeed putting Afrocentric work on a Eurocentric stage. And leave it to Eugene Lee to go deeply philosophical during the break. So can you reprise on the air what you were saying to me off air, Eugene Lee?
Well, no, in response to that, the challenge, as you were saying as well, is to make that European space more malleable.
Mm-hmm.
And to find the common denominators. Mm-hmm. And that's one way you do that, is we deal in the human condition, and that's where the common denominators lie. We all lie. We all, we all commit crimes, etc. And when our work bridges those cultural gaps is when it touches on those common denominators, I think.
Mm-hmm.
And when anyone in the audience can see themselves in the people in the play.
Yeah. Kenny, you used a word earlier that I want to come back to, and the word was humanity. What does A Soldier's Play say to us in real time about the humanity, the respect for, or the lack thereof, when it comes to the dignity and the humanity of black life?
So interesting. Listening to what Eugene said about, it reminds me of something that actually I said at the Tony Awards last year. And I said there was no disrespect to Shakespeare, no disrespect to Ibsen, no disrespect to Shaw. But when you think about writers like Eugene Lee and Charles Fuller and August Wilson, the table just got to be bigger.
Mm-hmm.
The table just got to be bigger. And we all can learn from each other, cross-cultural lens, cross-generationally, cross-racially. But the struggle in how to be a better human being since the beginning of time.
Mm-hmm.
And the great writers, I'm working on Shakespeare's Hamlet. What Hamlet is exploring is the same thing that A Soldier's Story is exploring. We're dealing with revenge, we're dealing with love, we're dealing with family. It's the same story. We're dealing with the resiliency of the human spirit. And that's what Charles Fuller does better almost than anyone.
When we come forward after news, traffic, and sports on KBLA Talk 1580, we'll talk more expressly about the play, A Soldier's Play, on stage now at the Amundsen Theater. Two of the stars of that play join us in this hour, Norm Lewis and Eugene Lee. You just heard the voice of Kenny Leon, who is the director of the play, but we'll talk more expressly about it and what you can expect to see when you get to the Amundsen to view A Soldier's Play. You're listening right now to KBLA Talk 1580.
KBLA Talk 1580 is an intervention. When we come forward, includes you. KBLA Talk 1580, turning pain into power.
I'm Ray Harris, and here's the latest from the Black Information Network. GOP negotiators say a significant gap remains between Republicans and Democrats as they discuss raising the debt ceiling.
President and Speaker McCarthy had a productive meeting about the need to prevent a default and avoid a catastrophe for our economy.
That's White House Press Secretary Karine Jean-Pierre. who told reporters that there needs to be a reasonable bipartisan agreement to raise the nation's borrowing limit. The days of Netflix subscribers sharing their passwords are coming to an end. The streamer began emailing customers about its new password policy. Netflix noted that some subscribers in the same household will still be able to stream wherever they are, including at hotels and vacation homes. And that's the latest. I'm Ray Harris on the Black Information Network and BINnews.com.
Ready to take control of your phone plan? Well, then you better take that next turn to a Verizon store. Because my plan from Verizon is the kind of control we all deserve. Get exactly what you want. Only pay for what you need. Get my plan at your Verizon store today.
This is the KBLA Sports Minute with Ray Richardson.
The Denver Nuggets will have to wait a little while longer to find out their opponent in the NBA Finals. Boston avoided a sweep in the Eastern Conference Finals with a 17-point win in Miami. Miami has a 3-1 lead, but the series now goes back to Boston for Game 5 Thursday night. The Lakers hope key moves in the offseason will convince LeBron not to retire. LeBron wants to see what the Lakers would do to improve the team before deciding on his future. Unrestricted free agents on the Lakers roster include D'Angelo Russell, Jared Vanderbilt, Dennis Schroeder, Lonnie Lowe IV, and Troy Brown Jr. Congrats to Golden State Steph Curry for being named the winner of the Kareem Abdul-Jabbar Social Justice Champion Award. The award comes with a $100,000 donation for Curry to give to the charity of his choice. No debates, no speculation, just the info you need. That's your KBLA Sports Minute. I'm Ray Richardson. More news, opinions, and conversation when we come forward on KBLA Talk 1580.
KBLA Talk 1580. Talk radio. That's music to your ears. We're unapologetically progressive. KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
Hi, we're Tasha,
Kiel,
and Euro from KBLA's Lyric Lounge.
Check us out every Saturday from 4 p.m. to 5 p.m. and every Sunday from 6 p.m. to 7 p.m.
Tune in as we break down some of your favorite song lyrics from all genres of music.
From gospel to pop and hip-hop to rock and everything else in between, we cover it all.
So come hang out in the Lyric Lounge with Tasha,
Teal,
and Euro every Saturday afternoon at 4 p.m. and every Sunday at 6 p.m.
Let the music play.
Unapologetically progressive. KBLA Talk 1580. We've got your black. KBLA Talk 1580 is in the lab right now, prepping some new shows coming your way soon. More empowerment, more inspiration, more entertainment.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Jazz Urbane Hour. I'm your host, Bill Banfield. We are a curated musical show that highlights contemporary cultural issues and artistry, showcasing music as a relevant and necessary arm of contemporary cultural identity.
You must learn. Welcome. I am your host, Dr. Tyrone Howard on KBLA Talk 1580, and you're listening to You Must Learn, where we talk about education as a tool for transformation. Education in our homes, in our schools, and in our communities. Education for transformation is the tagline, and we are here to talk about why we must learn.
KBLA Talk 1580 is for discerning listeners just like you. So tell all your friends you've discovered the talk station curating smart content for smart people. We're KBLA Talk 1580, and we've got you black.
Have you faced discrimination in Los Angeles? The City of LA Civil Rights Department can help. They investigate private sector discrimination in LA City in commerce, education, employment, and housing. If you're facing discrimination, submit a complaint online for free at laisforeveryone.com. That's laisforeveryone.com or call 213-978-1845.
Find a righteous rage, and don't be afraid to say what you see. We're KBLA Talk 1580.
Kenny Leon, before I get back to Norm and to Norm Lewis and Eugene Lee, let me ask you right quickly, just watching our time. As a director, clearly, and you do both and have done both. A play is not a movie, and a movie is not a play. And so, since we know this material rather well, courtesy of the film, and for those who were lucky enough to see it on Broadway, the play, how are you approaching your production of this work this time around?
Well, I always direct from the point of view of who's in the seats today.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not interested in doing a museum piece. I'm interested in, like, I need to move them now. So at the end of this production, for instance, I knew early on, I said, there's an American flag in this show.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know where it is. It ended up being the last thing of the show. A big, huge American flag reveals itself, and I have 12 men, 9 black, 3 white, standing in front of that flag, saluting the audience.
Mm-hmm.
And as they're saluting it, we have Nipsey Hussle's, one of his latest songs that he wrote before he passed away, just goes by for a second.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm trying to run 2022 into 1941, creating a space called now.
Mm.
So that's the way I sort of look at it. And when you get actors like these 2 actors, I mean, they're sitting here with me, but Norm Lewis and Eugene Lee, they are American treasures, you know, and to have people willing to jump off a building to dive toward the truth.
Mm-hmm.
And a truth that hits people where they sit, where they live today. It's a difficult thing to do, but when you have the right soldiers, it's a beautiful thing to do. So I'm always trying. The difference is, I always look at, if I was directing this in 1982,
mm-hmm.
I would be looking at what's the politics of the country,
Mm-hmm.
where are the people, what do they need. So I look at 2022. I look at the present day, the political divide,
Mm-hmm.
the community divide, the fact that we've just gone through a pandemic. So I find subtle ways to bring all those reminders in there, saying we don't look good in hate. We've lost our spiritual connection in the last 2 or 3 years. So spirituality in the sense of caring about one another, finding the common voice. So in this production, you'll feel those questions being asked and answered.
Now I'm even more fascinated to see this. That now that you mentioned you've woven in the music of Nipsey Hussle at the end. I need to see this now. Speaking of music, Norm Lewis, there's your cue.
I should tell one more story.
Go ahead, come on, go ahead.
Is that, you know, we did this play on Broadway,
right?
And it featured Blair Underwood and David Allen Greer,
Mm-hmm.
who did wonderful jobs. David Allen Greer won the Tony Award. It was great, and but I was billed for the actors we have in the production we're working on.
Mm-hmm.
So in this production, Eugene Lee is so different from David Allen Greer.
Mm-hmm.
You know, Norm Lewis is so different from Blair Underwood. But in the Broadway production, I had Blair Underwood take off his shirt because, you know, he's known as a sex symbol in America.
And the women went crazy.
And the women went crazy, right?
Yeah.
So, and in this production, we have music in between scenes. And it's like prison songs that could be fraternity songs, but I thought there was a thin line between prisoners and the way these military men were being treated.
Right.
And then I said, Norm. No one told me when we hired him. Norm said, "I'm not taking off my shirt." I said, it's okay. And so what we did was like, but what do people expect when they see a Norm Lewis?
Yeah.
They expect that beautiful.
They want to hear that voice.
Is it a baritone or what is it? Is it a?
It's something.
It's a beautiful deep voice, right? Sexy voice. They want that. So I said, "Hey man, Norm, just take those little work songs that the rest of the cast have been singing, and put your Norm thing on there, put some mayonnaise on that, and make it beautiful and sexy." So there are like at least 2 big moments where this dude comes on stage and he gives them that Norm Lewis sexy voice thing, and the women lose their minds.
But you're telling us though he's not going to take his shirt off. Though.
He's not going to take his shirt off.
Okay.
But then again, you wouldn't ask Blair Underwood to sing either.
No. Point. I know Blair, and I'll say point well taken. I ain't mad at you, Blair, but I think if Blair were here, he would even acknowledge that. Right. Norm, what is it like being on the stage in a production that frankly is classic and iconic?
That's a really interesting question. I feel like for me, this is a dive into a world that I've not done, and especially with the volume of dialogue that I have to do, monologues that I have to do, and it was challenging. And especially at this age, am I going to get this in my head?
Yeah.
But it worked out, and the camaraderie that we have on stage has been wonderful. We love each other. We've been on the road now for 6 months, and we not only work on stage, but we work off stage as well. And I think that that's what people see. They see the fraternity of who we are. It's an amazing thing to work with just men.
Yeah.
Because we just understand each other from that standpoint. It's amazing to work with black men.
I'm about to go there, yeah.
And we understand each other from that standpoint. And it's interesting to watch the metamorphosis of our white counterparts on stage because they get to see a world that they have not seen before and understanding that they have not understood before. And so it's been wonderful to just kind of go through this journey with all of these 12 men.
What is it like? I want to ask Eugene the same question, but you first, Norm. What is it like having the opportunity to travel for months to be a part of a production with a troupe of black men?
It's well,
yeah, there you go.
And a play,
hey Norm, it's family radio. Yeah. It's family radio. Norm.
And a play about America.
It's been fascinating to, especially these young kids. I mean, these are kids I've never met before.
Right.
Didn't know anything about them, but they're amazing. And so it's great for me to see the landscape of what's coming up in our industry, and to work with these kids and learning from them. And it's we talk about sports, we talk about women, we talk about just all kinds of things, and LGBTQ issues and things like that. There are some people in our cast that are in that world as well, and so we just talk about a lot of great things. It's just something that it's this great friendship, this great brotherhood.
Yeah, Eugene, I've been dying to ask you this question because you were there then and you are here now, which is a testament to your longevity.
Black don't crack.
Black don't crack. There you go. How would you compare and contrast being there for the original and here in 2023 doing this all over again?
I cherish revisiting a play like this.
Right.
This play. I mean, I've had the opportunity to sit and watch Adolph Caesar do this role for 2 years. I was there, and I also was there and watched Adolph take all the rest of us under his wing. That seasoned veteran took Denzel and Sam Jackson and Stephen Anthony Jones and Brent Jennings and Jim Pickens and myself under his wing, and basically did what I'm doing with these young guys now. There's at least one guy in this play right now who this is his first play. So to be able to pass it forward, if you know what I mean, and work the way Adolph taught us, and it was just a professional standard about excellence that he brought to all of us that I think I bring to this production, if you know what I mean. Some insight into the history of the play, because a lot of these guys have come to me with questions about, what is this line or what is this, and I'm able to say to them, oh yeah, no, that, and this reference is to Herman Melville, or that, in terms of the history of the play. So yeah, it's wonderful for me to revisit this play and to wade through it now. I mean, I was originally Corporal Cobb. When Denzel left to go get married, we were on tour, taking this play out to America the way we're doing it now, which is just, as Kenny said, this is just a wonderful thrill, man, to take this truth out to the world, because every night somebody watching this play has what I call a I didn't know that moment. It's just wonderful to watch America see it live. I mean, people have seen the movie, but the intimacy of watching these 12 live, living, breathing human beings on stage go through this storytelling is just rich. It's just special.
I am tickled because all these years later, Eugene Lee is still doing what he does so well, so that he's lived so long and done so much great work that he's revisiting a play like A Soldier's Story. And thank God for Jesus, Denzel and Pauletta are still together after all these years. So as we say, won't he do it? Won't he do it? More of our conversation with the cast and director of A Soldier's Play when we come forward on KBLA Talk 1580.
Be sure to like and follow Tavis Smiley at The Real Tavis Smiley and get Twitter updates at Tavis Smiley. The conversation continues when we come forward. We've got a lot to talk about.
Hi, Hi, I'm Zoe Williams, a.k.a. the voice of reason, encouraging you to join me weekdays from 7 to 9 p.m. for the world's most intriguing relationship radio roundtable. Every night, I facilitate and encourage our loyal listeners to participate in the most engaging relationship discussions you'll hear anywhere. So make it a point to rendezvous with me, Zoe Williams, the voice of reason, Monday through Friday, 7 to 9 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Trust me, your relationships will never be the same. The VOR is on fire tonight.
Unapologetically progressive. KBLA Talk 1580. We've got your black.
The California versus Hate campaign launches at the state capitol. Maisha Cairo here with your K-Black Minute News, brought to you by CaliforniaBlackMedia.org. California versus Hate. It's a new website and telephone hotline created to address the sharp rise in hate crimes and incidents occurring in California. It's a tool state residents can use to report crimes motivated by racial, ethnic, or other identity biases. According to an address by Lauren Pryor, president of the Black Youth Leadership Project, anti-Black or African-American-based events rose from 456 in 2020 to 513 in 2021. A 12.5% increase. Reports can be made online at cavshate.org or by calling 833-8-NO-HATE. Monday through Friday with staff trained in over 200 languages.
Your health is important, so keep yourself and your family covered with Medi-Cal. Medi-Cal renewals will be happening soon. So if you have Medi-Cal, make sure you don't miss any important renewal information. If you've moved in the last 3 years, check and update your mailing address, email address, and phone number. Learn more at keepmedicalcoverage.org. That's keepmedicalcoverage.org. Paid for by the California Department of Healthcare Services.
Interrogating your assumptions and expanding your inventory of ideas. Let's get back to Tavis Smiley on KBLA Talk 1580.
Oh, I hate moments like these where there's breaking news that just sometimes breaking news breaks your heart. And we were talking earlier in this hour about the fact that Patti LaBelle, who was on the soundtrack in the film A Soldier's Story, is celebrating her birthday today. And now comes news that the Queen of Rock and Roll, Tina Turner, has passed away at the age of 83 in Switzerland, where she's lived for years. But Tina Turner, now gone at the age of 83. Kenny was just saying 2 trains running, right?
2 trains running, life and death.
Yeah.
They run at the same speed.
Yeah.
But like just a lot of love and gratitude to Tina Turner. You know, she gave us, it's like I remember when August Wilson passed and we were so saddened by that, but we started thinking about what did he leave us with? And he left us those 10 great plays, and it's like, so I'm going to flip Tina and just honor what she left us, what she gave us. She gave us her life, her music. She gave us a Broadway play that's going to live forever and ever. You know, she gave us a lot. So just love.
You are the music man in this conversation, Norman Lewis. So your thoughts about the passing of Tina Turner?
You know, the struggle that she, you know, her presence in the beginning with Ike and the band and everything, and then that struggle she went through to try to get back on her feet, and then getting back on her feet at a later age, and resonating with young people and old people. And man, like Kenny was just saying, I'm glad that the musical is out there and to keep on her legacy out there.
Yeah. And she gave us that, you know, you think about her dancing, like that was life. You know, like moving like she did, using every part, of the body. It's like
when I see Beyonce, I think of, you know, that's who, you know, she modeled after. So.
Absolutely.
I was in love with her, and her music is definitely a part of the soundtrack for my life.
Yeah.
You know, it's,
no, it's as I said, it's always hard when you have to make these kind of announcements over the air. But again, Tina Turner, dead at the age of 83 after a long illness in her home near Zurich, Switzerland. And she had some health challenges a while back. And I felt for Tina, I guess a year or two ago, when another one of her sons passed away here in Los Angeles. and parents aren't supposed to outlive their children. And she expressed how heartbreaking it was for her to have to navigate through that ordeal. But again, Tina Turner, the queen of rock and roll, dead at the age of 83. When we come forward, more of our conversation with Norm Lewis and Eugene Lee, actors in A Soldier's Play, on stage now at the Amundsen Theater here in Southern California, and the director, Kenny Leon, who you're listening to right now on KBLA Talk 1580.
A safe place to go loud. A great place for progressive politics. KBLA Talk 1580.
Did you know addiction to drugs like meth or cocaine is a disease and not a choice? But getting help is. If you have stimulant use disorder, you, your family, and friends may have a lot of questions, including where to start. Choose Change California can help. Make a change today and find a proven treatment option for you at choosechangeca.org.
KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
Tired of being locked out of job opportunities and shut down by systemic racism? KBLA stands with you in fighting for the rights of black workers, and we don't black down. The Los Angeles Black Workers Center is a dynamic alliance of workers, organized labor, community-based organizations, clergy, students, and scholars, working collectively to improve the position of the black working class. The LA Black Workers Center takes a comprehensive approach to addressing the black jobs crisis. Their programs promote access to quality jobs, racial equity in hiring and retention, discrimination-free job sites, and they prepare black workers for employment in high-wage, career-track jobs. The Black Workers Center supports workers who need help protecting their rights on the job. They give workers access to quality jobs and remove systemic barriers to employment. To sign up for free career readiness training, get involved in organizing around anti-discrimination, learn about union apprenticeship programs, or sign on to a trade registry, please visit www.lablackworkerscenter.org. That's lablackworkerscenter.org. Together, we can beat the black jobs crisis. This is a community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580.
Maytag month has got it going on. It's all you want with the savings all month long. Baby, can't you see? Maytag month is all you need. You know you can't go wrong when Maytag month is going on.
Upgrade to the performance you need on all Maytag major appliances during May is Maytag month, happening all month long.
Maytag month is going on.
Let's unpack a little bit more with Tavis Smiley. The conversation continues right now.
In case you've just tuned in, we just announced moments ago that the queen of rock and roll, Tina Turner, has passed away at the age of 83. So I know that in the hours and days to come, there'll be all kinds of tributes, well-deserved and well-earned, to Tina Turner. We are talking in this hour, though, for the next 6 minutes at least, to the top of the hour when this program ends today, with two of the fine actors, two of the fine thespians from A Soldier's Play, on stage now at the Amundsen Theater, Norm Lewis and Eugene Lee, and the Obie Tony-winning director of the play, Kenny Leon, who all join us now here at KBLA. I think I want to close with this, and we'll go around the horn here in the 6 minutes that we have left. I'll start with you, Norm. And that is what we make of the treatment or the maltreatment, if you will, of black men writ large. This play is about black men. What do we make of the treatment or lack thereof, the humanity, the dignity of black men all these years later? Tomorrow we will spend a good portion of this program commemorating the 3rd anniversary of the murder of George Floyd. Believe it or not, 3 years ago tomorrow. This play puts black men at the center of the stage, literally. So in the 5 minutes we have left, we'll go around the horn. You first, Norm. I don't want to color the question much more than that part of the pun, but your thoughts about the ways in which black men are seen in late modernity.
I think black men are feared, and it's, a lot of times people, once black men have power and show that power, it's a dangerous thing, and people don't know how to handle it in some cases, and sometimes even within our own race, we don't know how to handle it. There's colorism, there's classism, there's education, things like that. But I really feel like if black men are seen with power, they are feared.
Yeah. Eugene, black men in 2023.
I remember saying to my big mama a long time ago.
Oh, you had one too, huh?
Yeah.
Big mama, I got one too, yeah.
I grew up in a segregated Texas, if you know what I mean. And I remember asking her, why do white men hate me, big mama? And she empowered me, and she said, they don't hate you, they're scared of you.
Ooh. They don't hate you, they're scared of you.
And, I go back to something that's, I've done August Wilson's one-man show a number of times.
Mm-hmm.
And it opens, he says, my ancestors have been in America since the early 17th century. And for the first 244 years, we never had a problem finding a job. But since 1863, it's been hell. And it's been hell because the ideas and attitudes that America had towards slaves followed them out of slavery and became entrenched in this nation's psyche. That's where we are now. Big boats turn slow. And that we're still seen by so many people as slaves. That's in that psyche. It's in the DNA, it seems sometimes. But that, I think, is, the father of this hate is fear.
Yeah. Eugene Lee, that is wisdom speaking. I can't even comment on it. But you dropped some jewels just then at the end of this hour. Thank you, man. I wish I had time to unpack half of what you just said. But that's wisdom speaking. The final word goes to, as it always does, the director. Especially if he's a Tony and Obie winner. I got 2 minutes left, Kenny Leon. It's all yours.
What that says also, what August Wilson also said is they had plenty of work for you back then, but when it came time to pay you, all of a sudden they ain't got no work.
Mm-hmm.
So I have to take a shout out to the great Todd Hames, who passed away recently, the artistic director at Roundabout Theater Company, who empowered us to do this production. And what's beautiful about him, he says, I'm going to hire a black man to direct it. And I'm going to give space for the black man to hire other black men that he wants to hire.
Yeah.
And I'm going to get out the way and let you tell the stories. The challenges is like, it's easy to have one black man in the room, but when you have more than one man, strong black men in the room, when you have Norm Lewis and Eugene Lee and Kenny Leon in the room, and you give them the freedom to tell that story, that's where the fear comes in.
Yeah.
And this particular play is beautiful because of the black men on that stage every night, and I thank them.
We celebrate black men around here every day on KBLA Talk 1580, and today we are celebrating as well the life and legacy of Tina Turner. We'll close with some Tina Turner music here in just a moment. In case you, again, have just tuned in, Tina Turner dead in Switzerland at the age of 83. The queen of rock and roll has taken her last breath. A Soldier's Play is on stage right now at the Amundsen Theater. Directed by Kenny Leon, starring Norm Lewis, Eugene Lee, and a great cast of brothers. So get your tickets now to see A Soldier's Play at the Amundsen Theater here in Southern California. Norm, I love you. Good to have you come in, man. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Eugene Lee, love you and love that wisdom you share. Thank you for your time, sir.
My pleasure, man.
And Kenny Leon, we go way back. I love you and ain't nothing you can do about it.
I'm sitting with the king, so it's great to see you again, sir.
Thank you, man. That's our show for today. Back here tomorrow morning, Lord willing, to do it all over again. Until then, thanks for tuning in. And as always, keep the faith.